Hi, this is Annie Grace, and welcome to this Naked Mind podcast. Today, I'm really excited to have Michael here with me. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. It's a great day. So why don't you take us back with your story? Like, just take me back to the beginning. Where did it all start for you?
Sure. So I guess going back to the beginning, framing around my relationship with alcohol. I started drinking towards the end of my senior year of high school. So I grew up Orange County, California. Very sunny out here. I can see all the sunshine right now. I played sports growing up. I was really busy with, school, sports. So I didn't really start partying or drinking or anything like that until my senior year. And I think what started getting me into to go down that path of drinking, experimenting with other stuff, had two things. One, I got cut from my high school varsity team for soccer, so I had a lot more time on my hands. And two, my parents got in a divorce that year. So two very, traumatic things happened that sort of led me down, a path of different friends, drinking a little bit more. And then that's, it started, just sort of, weekend drinking for the most part, but that went into college. I lived in Santa Barbara for a couple of years, and that's a party school, and it's known for heavy drinking and all that stuff on the weekend. So it was mostly kind of was like that for most of my early 20s, kind of into like my mid 20s. I'm 28 going on 29 now. So, that was it. It always stayed kind of on the weekends. I never really was like, get off work, had a long day of work or school, I'm going to like crack open a beer. For me, it was like I didn't really think about alcohol during the weekdays. But then when it came like, hey, like hitting up my friends, going out partying and everything like that, it would just be binge drinking on the weekend almost every single weekend for years. So that is definitely not good for the health, but I didn't really think about it too much up until like last year, maybe, because it wasn't having any real significance on like my day to day. I still was going to work, going to the gym. I had pretty decent relationships with my family, but a lot of it had to do with just like my happiness was decreasing, and the pleasure that I once got from drinking in high school was going down, while the pain of the hangovers was going up exponentially year over year. So and then I guess that sort of led I got really into personal development in 2016. So I started meditating every day, journaling, and it really helped me become more like self-aware and really know myself as a person. So I started to really figure out what I like out of life and sort of like what I don't like out of life. And there were like patterns I was seeing. And then it was like, okay, well, it became more and more apparent that what I was doing to myself on the weekends was not good for me and really not good for the people around me. So I made a half-ass attempts in 2018, to really be like, okay, I'm going to do like a dry month, or I'm not going to drink for a couple of weekends. And nothing was really working. And then, coming into the new year, I'm not really big on New Year's resolutions. I think that like habits need to be built in order to sustain those. But I was like, you know what, let me like really do some research. And then I started YouTubing and Googling like benefits of not drinking for 30 days. And I was trying to find other people who were doing similar things. And then I found like various people on YouTube, but then one way or another, I stumbled across your work, Annie, and like your book and the 30-day alcohol experiment. And then I read that and I was like, whoa, this seems like kind of exactly what I want to be doing. So yeah, I read This Naked Mind. That's the name of it. Yeah, This Naked Mind. And then I did the 30-day alcohol challenge on the site. And I haven't drank since New Year's. So those are
Awesome.
two positions. And life's just good right now. So
That's so cool. That's great. And you said in your note to me that you like tried everything. You tried fucking everything. Like, can you talk to me about that a little bit?
yeah, I mean, like again, I got like really into like personal development a couple of years ago. So, I was meditating and like just being like, okay, like writing the pros and cons of drinking. I was like, okay, like, I go out and have fun with my friends, but like, is it the alcohol that's like making it fun, or is it just like me and my social interactions? And I was trying everything, but then one way or another, like when, I'd have like say Monday through Friday where, killed it at work, did this, like took my grandma out to lunch, like all the good things that I felt like I should be doing. But then like I had like my friend group, I grew up in Orange County, so I have like all my friends around here who all drink heavily on the weekends. What are you doing tonight? This and that, and that social pressure just, would one thing or another, I'd be out with them and I'd be drinking, and it would be like a pattern over and over. And then, I'd be hungover all day Sunday and just regret it and be like, beat myself up over it. And like, it was just a pattern. And I was like, okay, something needs to change. And yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. And was there any moment in specific, or was it just a whole group of
yeah, so it was more so the whole, because I really thought about like, not drinking. Even back in 2014 when I was younger, I did a dry January that ended up going the longest stretch I ever had of not drinking from like, 18 until now, the last like decade of my like drinking career, I guess we'll call it. I went about like 5 months in 2014 where I didn't drink. And I did that just sort of as a challenge to myself. And that was like pure willpower. I was like, I'm just not going to do it. But the way I did it was like just complete avoidance of going out. I didn't go out with friends. I stopped answering my phone. I even like blocked certain people's numbers at certain times because I knew that if they hit me up, I would be tempted to go out and drink. So that was sort of like a successful stretch. But then it was like, people like addicts and stuff, and then you give them a little bit of it again, they go right back into it. So then I had my birthday was in May of that year. I went out and partied all weekend for my birthday, and then it was literally right back where I left it. So that was sort of unsuccessful. But to answer your question, it's more so just a whole and kind of a lot that led me to this. And ultimately, like, I have like my goals, and in order to reach those goals, alcohol was only hindering them. I wasn't getting any pleasure from it anymore. It was only pain. So it was sort of an obvious decision for me
No,
to
that's
not
huge.
drink. So
That's so cool. Yeah, I have a lot of good friends. One of the most impressive entrepreneurs I've ever met, it's a couple, Alex and Layla Hermosi, and they have literally within the last 2 years gone from startup till I think they're closing in on like 50 million a year, and they have a company helping gyms. And I was talking to them, and they're just like, yeah, we just realized that it was in the way of everything they wanted to do. Like it was holding them back and in the way. So it wasn't even this big, certainly they were drinking more than they wanted to be, but it wasn't even this big thing. It was just more like, if we want to do this thing in the world, alcohol isn't really like, it just doesn't really have a place. It can't really have a place. It's just taking too much in terms of time and thinking and, time hungover and time thinking about drinking and being bored and all of these things. It was just like, oh, it's just in the way. And I feel like that's happening all the time. I'm in this entrepreneur group and there's 100 people in it, and almost a dozen now have stopped drinking. And a lot of them through this Naked Mind or the alcohol experiment, but a lot of them just because they, again, realize like that's the tool or the vehicle they're using. But again, the motivation is not as much as they've had some rock bottom experience as it is that they just have realized like, yeah, this is holding me back. Like this is keeping me from being who I want to be. And so I think that's such a cool thing.
yeah.
So in your journey, do you have any specific like tips or tools that have really been the most helpful for you, or are you finding it, really pretty easy? Kind of where are you at?
Maybe I'm an outlier, but I'm finding it like pretty easy. But I am using some tools, and a lot of it, I guess, to give some context to why it's been easy, because it wasn't just like the habits and then I stopped and then like now it's just easy. It was like for me years of I always bring it back to the personal development stuff. A part of my meditation every morning, I do it's called Tony Robbins priming,
Yep.
where he does like a visualization technique where you visualize what you want to happen that's good out of your life. So one thing that I was doing during the 30 days is every morning when I already had the habit of meditating every morning. So I had that on my side, but I just visualized specific scenarios that I would be in with family and friends where I would normally drink, and I would visualize myself not drinking, having the conversations with specific friends and family members, and just really like, hey, why aren't you drinking? And kind of knowing what to say, and not even having like a canned response like, oh, I'm doing a challenge or this, just like based on like the person too. It's like, hey, if they're, people who are going to give me shit for it, like I'll play back with them, and I would kind of imagine these conversations. And then it all stems back to like my like why, which is like why I'm doing all of this. I don't want to drink, and I have very solid reasons why I don't want to drink. So because when I did this, I didn't want to kind of like in 2014 when I just went cold turkey, didn't drink, stopped partying. I was like, I didn't want to do that because I was so bored on the weekends. I was FOMO, missing my friends and stuff. I'm like, can't I go out and have fun and just like not drink? So I started, looking at other things. So other tools, I guess it wouldn't really be like a tool, but like when I'm at a bar. So for example, I'm out, and this could be with anything, family, friends, but let's say you're out at like a restaurant or a bar and you're with friends and family. I order like a club soda and lime, but I always ask the bartender or the waiter or server to put it in the same glass as what all the alcoholic drinks are in. Because normally what they tend to do is because I've been going out every single weekend since January because I made it a point. I'm still going to have fun with my friends on weekends and socialize. And I noticed every bar, and it might be different in different areas, but like Newport Beach, California, Party Central over there, they put like the drinks either in like a plastic little water cup that big, or they'll put it in this giant mason jar. But I think they do that because they want to single you out, so people will be like, what are you drinking? Go spend money on more alcohol. And that's kind of theory behind it. So I would ask them, I'd be like, hey, I'm getting a club soda and lime, maybe a splash of cranberry. Can you please put it in a glass that's the same as the gin and tonic glasses? And then I have like $1 or $2 in my hand, so they see that I'm going to tip them. And 99% of the time they do. So when I'm out at a social event or a bar or a restaurant, it looks like I have a drink. And it's not that I'm trying to necessarily fool people or, trick people, but I just want to have less conversations that centered around me and why I'm not drinking, and keep the conversation natural about whatever we're talking about. So if someone does, oh, what are you drinking? I'll be like, oh, it's just a club soda. Oh, you're not drinking? No, I'm not drinking. I'm driving. But anyway, like, tell me more about like your sister and her engagement. And I just kind of acknowledge, ignore, and deflect them. So
I love that.
yeah.
Acknowledge, ignore, deflect. And that's a great tool about the glass. I mean, that's really helpful. I think people really benefit from that. But that's awesome. Acknowledge, ignore, deflect. It's perfect. It's great. Great little thing. So one of the questions that I always ask sort of near the end is, what would you tell yourself about like how, and I don't think you're necessarily an outlier. I think when it clicks, especially when you're on a personal development journey, when you're on a journey to just really be and live the best life you have, like it's almost, there almost seems to be, no other really good answer, that this is the truth. So, but tell me about, what would you tell yourself from a few years ago about, what it's like now, what life's like kind of on this other side?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think something I would tell myself, and a lot of people can probably take this advice, but your problem, there's other people in the world that have your same problems. So one thing I've noticed, especially being in like I'm in the Facebook group for the alcohol experience, there's a lot of people who have very similar problems, around alcohol, and this could be said for any problem. So this almost might sound like blunt to some people, but like, you're not special. Like, your problems are not special. There's other people who are going through the same things, who are either like before you in this journey, after you in this journey, at the same place. But people tend to get like so caught up in their own problems and think that, man, like this sucks, this is only me, I'm powerless, all that. So, and I think that's where I was for a while. I'd beat myself up, and I'd be like, man, there's definitely people who like don't drink out there, who are like doing better out try to compare myself to like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs and people who are like super successful and be like, I want to be somewhere like that one day, but like I'm not there. So I would tell myself just, your problems aren't unique to you. There's other people who have them. Perhaps go seek those people who are ahead of you in your journey and talk to them about what they did to get there, and just stay positive. So.
I love that. That's huge. That's massive. It's awesome. Was there anything else you want to add? I mean, I think this has been just so useful and inspiring. I think a lot of people will really resonate with your story, and especially with just this idea of being on this journey that you just, aren't tolerating anything less for yourself, which is just the coolest.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, yeah, life's for me is I'm a pretty positive guy in general. Life is like pretty good. And since I stopped drinking, like 50s, I don't even know the days anymore. After 30 days, it was just kind of like, okay, keep going to like 2 months, 100 days, whatever. But I mean, it's, been about 2 months now since like January 1st. And I've lost like 15 pounds of weight and not much changed. I was already working out, going to the gym and all that, and not a lot has changed there. But just from not like binge drinking on the weekends, and I particularly really liked like heavy IPAs, and if I get like 6 or 7 pints of those in a night, that's thousands and thousands and thousands of empty calories and sugar. And yeah, another thing that your book taught was like how alcohol is made. I ended up watching YouTube videos of people making it in like a bathtub, and I saw them like pouring ethanol into it, all pounds and pounds of sugar, and like the fermentation process. And I'm like, oh, I was putting that into my body every single weekend for years. That's basically. But yeah, overall, just life is better like without it. And like everybody has like a different journey. So whether someone wants to like try to moderate, because my goal going into it was to change my relationship with alcohol, whether that was abstaining or moderating. I would kind of make that decision after at least like 30 days. And for me personally, it's like I don't see a point of going out and having one drink that's like not even good for me when I can have like a nice like club soda and lime and like a cranberry and mocktails that are just as tasty, and I'm still deriving the same and now more satisfaction out of my friendships, people that I meet out when I go out and socialize. So it's just life is better without it, and I plan to stay away from it. I just don't see a point of drinking, and I'm happier. Everything's working out better. So yeah.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I'm actually like working with a medical doctor to develop sort of, some things, but one of the things I'm really excited about, it's not really even, we're just working on the formulation now, but what it's going to be is like this basically mocktail supplement. So like a little packet that you can like put in your soda water that tastes really good, that has all these vitamins like B12 and just stuff that makes you feel really good, so that you feel like, okay, like it's still giving you a benefit, but it's like super healthy benefit, and you can just, slip it in or whatever when you're out. So anyway, that just reminded me of that, but I'm really excited about it because I'm like, that would be
Let
great.
me know when you get that. I would love to have that. That
That'd be
sounds
awesome,
awesome.
right? Just like have them in like your pocket, I think it's going to be awesome. Nothing, it's just like a brainchild of mine. Nothing else like it exists, but I was like, that would be so cool to have just this thing that's super good for you, but makes you feel super great. And that you're not, you're like, yeah, not only am I not drinking, but I'm like putting my health first. So anyway, well, this is awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. It's just such a pleasure. And I really, really enjoy having you on.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. Again, thanks for taking the time out of your day to talk to me. I know you're probably very busy. It's great to like virtually meet you face to face. That's awesome. And yeah, life's great. So
Yay.
hopefully we can talk again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Bye.
Bye.
This has been Annie Grace with This Naked Mind podcast. Thank you so much for listening. You can learn more at thisnakedmind.com. And please remember to rate, review, and subscribe, as it really helps us spread the word.